Well, I really didn't think he got a fair trial.
Why not, sir?
Because nothing stood up what was said. The police say never saw Huey with a gun, and that haven't even been talked about. All they talked about Greer is something that could send him instead of clearing him.
How do you think they arrived at a verdict?
Did you hear it?
Yes.
I really don't know how they arrived at that verdict.
Well, the apartment was this, it was a penthouse. It looked over, it had this incredible view of Lake Merritt, which really was a dredge. So, you know, he got out of prison, and there was a feeling that he had to be protected because, you know, they were after him. They, meaning the cops, or he got away with murder, you know, that he was needed a security building. So he had this apartment. It was it had the balcony from which they hung, I guess, more than just Ike Turner.
Well,
why was that?
Yeah, what's that story? Yeah.
Well, I'm a little fuzzy. I used to know it really well. I think he was demanding he wouldn't go on, or he wanted more money, or there was something about money, and he was pissed off, and so he came up to the apartment, and they hung him out by his feet until he said, "Okay, you know." I mean, I think Ike had gotten a little beyond himself as well, or what, you know, and they were outraged, and they were threatening to drop him off the balcony, put the fear of God in him. And God knows that's where also they beat up where he beat up his tailor, Preston Callens, guy in his 60s, said, "Hey, baby," and Huey couldn't stand that term because there was a cartoon character named Baby Huey, and that was how he was teased as a young guy, and he'd go ballistic because he was pretty sociopathic, in fact, And like a lot of sociopaths, he could be very charming and this and that and attractive. He could be gallant and one-to-one. Bad speaker. Huey was a terrible speaker, boring, and but he was very charming with people, and he really connected with them. He'd flirt with you. Men, women, appeal to your... It was very seductive. What got to me was the punishment and the low status and the lack of anything, even in their standard of living, of the people at the rank and file in the party. They were sent out as workers, whether it was hookers, whether you were a thug, whether you worked unbelievable hours. You got nothing. You got bupkis. It was all for the party. And they were completely propagandized to all for, you followed orders. It was a very hierarchical organization. It was a cult. And in cults, there's the followers and there are the leaders. And it was, to me, that was criminal. And the worst was around criminal defense issues. And so this was the worst, because there are people still rotting in jail who were Panthers, who got convicted and who were left there. They never got a lawyer. I mean, there were lawyers for the top people and for the people who had some big secrets, and the rest of them were like cannon fodder. They were sent to prison, they got nothing, and they did their time. That was criminal. That was a horror of the Panthers. They just didn't have enough money to bail out the foot soldiers.
Well, what I'd read somewhere, I don't think it was your article, what I'd read somewhere was the policy was if you were a lower down, a rank and file Panther, and you got busted for selling dope, for instance, they would throw you under the bus because they didn't want the PR that like a Black Panther, they go, well, the Panthers would officially, we have nothing.
Them, yeah. Well, no, they disowned them. They disowned them for the assassination attempt of Crystal Gary that went awry. They said, "Oh, we don't know." The first things out of Huey's, "Oh, we don't know Johnson, the guy who got killed. We don't know those people." I mean, it wasn't just for petty dope charges.
However, because Warren had the decency to come to me after, it's the reason why I'm here tonight. But what has been said to me between us as Warren, as I told Paul when I came in here, has not been addressed fully. That is, I came to expect a public apology. After 37 years, 5 months, tomorrow, I want a public apology after having been tied up in that basement at gunpoint under the orders of George Sales with a .45 to my head. Warren Kimbrough and Lonnie McLucas. One tied my arms and one tied my ankles. I was forced to make a tape. Where's that tape? Who took that tape? I'm a consistent victim of what was put on that tape that night from the Central Intelligence Agency, the U.S. Military Intelligence, the FBI, the State Department, the Secret Service. and Homeland Security to this very moment from what was put on that tape at gunpoint. What happened to the tape? Why is it not in the book, and why is it not being mentioned?
Well, let me say this, Joe.
I wasn't available.
I wasn't going to try to get you. Okay? I dialed all the numbers but one. And Rory said, you can't get him? I said, no, no one answers. And I didn't know if you were there or not, and hung up, and we left. Okay? Now, I'll apologize for what I've done to you. I apologize for what I did to anyone in that time, because it wasn't only you. There's a lot of stuff you don't know about. It wasn't not on you. There was Nelson Fox. What was his name? Nelson Fox?